The frigid water closed over Lydia's head like a vice, her lungs burning as she flailed against the current, her sister's hand, Brielle's, slipping from her grasp in the chaos. "Why, Mom? Why us?" Brielle's muffled scream echoed in Lydia's mind, a dagger of betrayal sharper than the icy depths pulling them under. In that suspended moment, as the lake's darkness swallowed them whole, Lydia realized this wasn't an accident. It was their mother's final, shattering rejection. Lydia Thompson had always known Willow Creek, Michigan, as a place where secrets simmered beneath the surface of its picture-perfect facade. Nestled in the heart of the Midwest, the town boasted wide, tree-lined streets, a historic downtown with red brick storefronts, and a glittering lake that drew tourists every summer for boating and fireworks. But beneath the 4th of July parades and Friday night football games, Willow Creek harbored a conservative soul, where church steeples pierced the skyline and families clung to traditions like lifelines. Lydia, at 24, was the epitome of the town's golden girl, tall with auburn hair that cascaded like autumn leaves, and a smile that could light up the local diner where she waitressed. She had dreams of escaping to Chicago, maybe becoming a writer, but for now, she was tethered by family and familiarity. Brielle, her younger sister by 2 years, was the firecracker to Lydia's calm flame. With her short, tousled blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and a laugh that turned heads, Brielle worked at the auto shop on Main Street, grease under her nails and a wrench in her pocket. Adopted into the Thompson family as a toddler after her biological parents' tragic car accident, Brielle had always been one of the girls in their mother's eyes. Margaret Thompson, a devout widow who ran the local bakery, raised them with a mix of stern love and unyielding faith. "Family is everything," she'd say, kneading dough with hands calloused from years of labor. But what Margaret didn't know or refused to see was that the bond between Lydia and Brielle had deepened into something forbidden in Willow Creek's eyes. It started innocently enough, in the sweltering summer of their teens, when stolen glances during family barbecues turned into late-night whispers in their shared bedroom. By college, those whispers had evolved into tentative touches, hidden kisses behind the barn on their property. Lydia, studying literature at the community college, found solace in poetry that mirrored her turmoil. Words of forbidden love from Walt Whitman and Audre Lorde. Brielle, more pragmatic, buried her feelings in engine repairs, but the pull was undeniable. "We're sisters," Lydia had whispered one night, her voice trembling. "But not by blood. Does that make it wrong?" Brielle's response was a kiss that silenced doubts, at least for a while. Their secret flourished in the shadows, fueled by the thrill of deception. They'd sneak away to the lake's hidden coves, where the water lapped gently against the shore, and dream of a life beyond Willow Creek. "Imagine us in San Francisco," Brielle would say, her head on Lydia's shoulder. "No one judging, just us." But reality intruded like storm clouds over the lake. Margaret began noticing the late nights, the shared looks that lingered too long. Whispers from church friends about unnatural affections planted seeds of doubt in her mind. The tension built slowly, like pressure in a fault line. One evening, after a particularly heated family dinner where Brielle defended a local pride event on the news, Margaret cornered them. "What's going on between you two?" she demanded, her voice a whip crack. Lydia froze, but Brielle, ever the bold one, met her gaze. "We love each other, Mom. More than sisters." The silence that followed was deafening. Margaret's face crumpled, then hardened into a mask of fury and grief. "This is the devil's work," she hissed. "I won't let it destroy our family." In the days that followed, Margaret's desperation mounted. She dragged them to Pastor Reynolds for counseling, where fire and brimstone sermons left them raw. Brielle rebelled, storming out mid-session, while Lydia pleaded for understanding. "We're not hurting anyone," she said through tears. But Margaret saw only sin, only the town's potential scorn. She began plotting in secret, convinced a drastic act could save them, force them to confront their error and repent. It culminated on a crisp autumn afternoon, the kind where leaves crunched underfoot and the lake shimmered like a mirror. Margaret insisted on a family outing, to reconnect, she said, packing a picnic with trembling hands. They drove to the lake's edge, where a rickety dock extended into the water. As they walked out, the wind picking up, Margaret's demeanor shifted. "You two need to see what this path leads to," she muttered, her eyes wild. Without warning, she lunged at Brielle, shoving her toward the edge. "Mom, no!" Lydia screamed, grabbing for her sister. But Margaret, fueled by a mother's twisted love, pushed harder, sending Brielle tumbling into the water. Lydia dove after her instinctively, but Margaret grabbed her arm, then released with a shove that propelled her over too. "This will cleanse you," Margaret cried, her voice breaking as she watched them splash into the depths. The water was shockingly cold, the current stronger than expected from recent rains. Lydia surfaced gasping, spotting Brielle a few feet away, thrashing. "Swim to me!" Lydia yelled, but the panic in Brielle's eyes mirrored her own. They linked hands, kicking toward shore, but exhaustion set in. Townsfolk on the nearby path heard the screams and rushed over, one man diving in to help. As they were pulled out, shivering and coughing, Margaret stood frozen on the dock, her face a portrait of regret. Word spread like wildfire through Willow Creek. By evening, the sheriff was at the Thompsons' door, questioning Margaret. "It was an accident," she claimed weakly, but the truth unraveled quickly. The town, stunned, buzzed with gossip. Some called it attempted murder, others a cry for help from a broken woman. Lydia and Brielle, wrapped in blankets at the hospital, clung to each other. "She tried to kill us," Brielle whispered, tears streaming. Lydia nodded, her heart aching. "But she's our mom. What do we do now?" The aftermath was a whirlwind. News crews descended, turning their private pain into a public spectacle. "Mother attempts to drown daughters over forbidden love," the headlines screamed. Support poured in from LGBT groups across Michigan, while local conservatives rallied behind Margaret, painting her as a victim of modern perversion. As the sisters recovered, their bond strengthened amid the chaos. Brielle, once fiery, softened, confessing her fears. "I thought we'd never make it out." Lydia held her close. "We did. And we'll face this together." But betrayal lurked. Old friends distanced themselves, whispers of incest, twisting the truth since Brielle was adopted. Even Aunt Clara, Margaret's sister, turned her back, saying, "You've shamed the family." Yet glimmers of hope emerged. A young lawyer from Detroit, moved by their story, offered pro bono representation. "This isn't just about you," she said. "It's about changing hearts." The trial loomed like a thunderhead over Willow Creek, transforming the sleepy town into a battleground of ideologies. The courthouse, a stately building from the 1800s with columns that spoke of justice's weight, became the epicenter. Margaret Thompson sat in the defendant's chair, her once vibrant face gaunt, eyes hollow from sleepless nights in jail. Charged with attempted manslaughter, she pleaded not guilty by reason of temporary insanity, her lawyer arguing religious trauma and maternal desperation. Lydia and Brielle, now living in a small apartment on the town's outskirts, courtesy of a GoFundMe campaign, prepared to testify. The media frenzy was relentless, reporters camped outside, flashing cameras capturing every weary step. "How do you feel about your mother's actions?" one shouted. Brielle, shielding Lydia, snapped back. "How would you feel if love was a crime?" Inside their haven, emotions ran raw. Nights were spent in each other's arms, not in passion but in solace, whispering affirmations against the world's roar. "Do you regret us?" Lydia asked one evening, tracing Brielle's scar from a childhood fall, the one that made her feel like family from day one. Brielle shook her head. "Never. You're my everything." Their love, once hidden, now bloomed defiantly, a testament to resilience. But the trial unearthed painful truths. On the stand, Margaret broke down, recounting her husband's death from cancer 10 years prior. "He left me to raise them right," she sobbed. "I saw them drifting into sin and I panicked. I thought the water would shock them back to God." The courtroom gasped. Lydia felt a pang of pity mixed with rage. "She called me her daughter too," Brielle testified later, voice steady. "But love isn't something you drown out." Cross-examination was brutal. The prosecutor painted Margaret as a bigot, while the defense highlighted her community service, baking for charity, volunteering at church. Witnesses paraded. Pastor Reynolds defended her faith, but a former classmate of the sisters revealed Margaret's growing isolation, her rants about protecting purity. Outside, protests clashed. Rainbow flags waved alongside signs reading "Family Values First." One night, vandals spray-painted "Freaks" on their apartment door, a stark betrayal from neighbors they'd known since childhood. This town was our home, Lydia lamented to Brielle. Now it's a prison. Amid the drama, unexpected allies emerged. Old Mr. Harlan from the auto shop, Brielle's boss, testified to her character. That girl's got heart, he gruffed. Love's love. His words rippled, softening some hardened views. Even the local diner owner, Mrs. Patel, an immigrant who'd faced her own prejudices, offered free meals and a shoulder. America's about second chances, she said. As weeks dragged, the sisters' relationship deepened through shared vulnerability. Long walks by the lake, now a symbol of survival, became therapy. Remember our first kiss here? Brielle mused, skipping stones. Lydia smiled. How could I forget? It felt like the world stopped. Their conversations turned introspective, exploring identity in a post-trauma world. We're not just survivors, Lydia said. We're proof that love endures. But betrayal struck closer. Cousin Jake, whom they trusted, sold their story to a tabloid for a quick buck, twisting details into sensationalism. Sisters in sin. The shocking lake incident. The article hit like a gut punch, forcing them to relive the horror. How could he? Brielle raged, punching a pillow. Lydia pulled her in. People show their true colors in crisis. The climax came during closing arguments. The prosecutor thundered. This wasn't love, it was hate disguised as protection. The defense pleaded. A mother's fear blinded her. But redemption is possible. The jury, a mix of locals, deliberated for days. In the waiting, Lydia and Brielle found moments of romance amid the storm. A quiet dinner at home, candlelight flickering, where Brielle proposed a future. When this ends, let's leave. Start fresh. Lydia's eyes sparkled. Together always. The verdict. Guilty of reckless endangerment, a lesser charge with probation and mandatory counseling. Margaret collapsed in tears. The sisters exchanged glances, relief tinged with sorrow. As she was led away, Margaret mouthed, I'm sorry. It was a crack in the armor, but healing would take time. Post-trial, Willow Creek simmered with change. A town hall meeting sparked by the case debated inclusivity. Young voices rose, sharing stories of hidden lives. The sisters attended, hand in hand, symbols of courage. We didn't choose this fight, Lydia spoke, but we'll finish it for others. Yet shadows lingered. Brielle struggled with nightmares, waking screaming from watery graves. Lydia soothed her, their bond a lifeline. We're stronger now, she whispered. As winter blanketed the town, they began planning escape. Applications to universities in progressive cities. But roots tugged. Margaret, under house arrest, sent a letter. I was wrong. Can we talk? The sisters debated, hearts torn between forgiveness and self-preservation. In quiet moments their love shone. Stolen dances in the kitchen, shared books by the fire. You're my home, Brielle said. Lydia nodded. And you're my heart. The town's shock evolved into reluctant acceptance. A pride flag appeared in a shop window, a small victory. But deeper wounds festered, setting the stage for more drama. Spring thawed Willow Creek's frozen heart, but the sisters' scars remained etched deep. Lydia and Brielle, now local celebrities of sorts, navigated a new normal fraught with emotional landmines. Invitations to speak at LGBT events flooded in, from Ann Arbor Pride parades to Detroit forums, turning their trauma into advocacy. Your story saves lives, a organizer told them. But fame's double-edged cut. Anonymous hate mail piled up, echoes of the town's lingering bigotry. Margaret's counseling sessions became a bridge, tentative and fragile. Their first visit was tense, in the neutral ground of a therapist's office. I thought I was saving you, Margaret admitted, wringing her hands. From what? Brielle challenged, eyes flashing. From happiness? Lydia mediated, her voice soft. We need time, Mom. Tears flowed, a catharsis long overdue. Margaret shared her own buried pain. A strict upbringing that stifled her dreams. I projected my fears onto you. It wasn't absolution but a start. Betrayal reared again when Pastor Reynolds, once an ally to Margaret, publicly denounced the sisters in a sermon. Repent or face eternal damnation, he boomed, igniting fresh protests. Old friends like Sarah, Lydia's high school confidant, joined the fray, posting online vitriol. I thought I knew you, Sarah messaged. The sting was profound. Sarah had been the first to know their secret, swearing secrecy. People change when crowds cheer, Brielle sighed. Amid the turmoil, romance rekindled like wildflowers after rain. A weekend getaway to Lake Michigan's dunes offered respite. Under starlit skies they picnicked, laughter mingling with waves. "Marry me," Brielle blurted impulsively, on one knee with a makeshift ring from twisted grass. Lydia laughed through tears. Yes, 1,000 times. Their kiss was electric, a promise against the odds. Back home, conflict escalated. The town council debated a non-discrimination ordinance, inspired by their case. Hearings turned heated. Conservatives argued traditional values, while progressives championed equality. The sisters testified, voices steady. "Love isn't a threat," Lydia said. "Hate is," Brielle added. "We almost died for being us. Don't let that be Willow Creek's legacy." The vote passed narrowly, a human victory amid drama. Celebrations ensued. A community picnic where rainbow banners fluttered. But sabotage struck. Someone tampered with the event's sound system, blasting slurs. Suspicion fell on Reynolds' flock, deepening divides. Personally, Margaret's redemption arc deepened. She baked apology pies, delivering them with handwritten notes. "I see your love now," one read. Brielle softened first, inviting her for coffee. Conversations flowed, unearthing family history. Margaret's own unrequited love in youth, suppressed by society. "I was afraid for you," she confessed. Lydia listened, empathy budding. "Fear almost killed us." High drama peaked at the annual Lake Festival. As fireworks lit the sky, a confrontation unfolded. Reynolds approached the sisters, Bible in hand. "Turn back," he urged. Brielle stood firm. "We're forward bound." Onlookers watched. Margaret intervened. "Enough, Pastor. They're my daughters." Her public stand stunned the crowd, a pivotal betrayal of her old beliefs. The moment went viral, shifting tides. Support swelled. Even Sarah apologized, shamefaced. "I was scared too." Forgiveness came slowly, but it mended fractures. In private, the sisters' bond evolved. Lydia wrote a memoir draft, pouring emotions onto pages. Brielle supported, reading aloud. "Your words heal us," she said. Their love, once clandestine, now open, inspired others. A young teen confided in them, seeking advice. Yet shadows persisted. Nightmares plagued Brielle. Therapy helped, but trust issues lingered. "What if Mom relapses?" she worried. Lydia reassured. "We're vigilant." As summer waned, they planned a move to Chicago, jobs lined up, a fresh canvas. But Willow Creek tugged, its transformation a testament to their impact. Margaret, now an advocate in her church group, begged them to stay. "We've changed because of you." Torn, they deliberated under the lake's moonlit glow. "This place broke us," Lydia said. "But it also made us." Brielle nodded. "Maybe we owe it one more chance." The decision hung, a cliffhanger of hearts. Autumn returned to Willow Creek, painting the landscape in hues of redemption and unresolved tension. Lydia and Brielle, weighing their future, chose a compromise. A trial period in town, aiding the new LGBT support group while pursuing online degrees. "We're not running," Lydia declared. "We're building." Their apartment became a hub, meetings filled with stories, laughter, and tears. Margaret's integration deepened the family drama. Weekly dinners evolved from awkward to affectionate, with shared recipes and reminiscences. "Tell me about your first date," Margaret ventured one night. Brielle chuckled. "It was a picnic by the lake, ironic, huh?" Laughter broke barriers, but undercurrents of guilt swirled. Margaret confessed. "I replay that day endlessly." Lydia touched her hand. "We're here now." Betrayal's echoes faded, but new conflicts arose. A national news special revisited the case, dredging painful footage. Reynolds, unrepentant, appeared, labeling them activist agitators. Backlash ensued. Harassment calls, a brick through their window. "This town's not ready," Brielle fumed. But allies rallied. The sheriff increased patrols, and a vigil drew hundreds, candles flickering in solidarity. Romance anchored them amid storms. Anniversaries were marked with quiet gestures. A poem from Lydia. A handmade necklace from Brielle. "You're my muse," Lydia whispered during a lakeside stroll. Brielle grinned. "And you're my anchor." Their love, mature now, wove through advocacy, turning personal pain into communal healing. High tension built when Reynolds organized a family purity rally. Counter-protesters gathered, the sisters at the forefront. Chants clashed. A scuffle erupted. Brielle shielded Lydia from a thrown bottle, earning a bruise. "Enough hate!" Margaret shouted from the crowd, joining them. Her defection stunned Reynolds, fracturing his support. The rally's fallout was profound. Church attendance dipped. Dialogue sprouted in coffee shops. A young couple came out, crediting the sisters. "You gave us courage." Human moments multiplied. Mrs. Patel hosting inclusive events. Mr. Harlan flying a pride flag at the shop. Yet, internal drama simmered. Brielle's trust wavered after a nightmare-fueled argument. "What if we can't escape the past?" Lydia held her. "We rewrite it daily." Therapy sessions uncovered layers. Adoption insecurities for Brielle, perfectionism for Lydia. Their bond tested emerged stronger. As winter approached, a pivotal event. The town's first Pride Festival. Organized by the sisters, it featured booths, music, and speakers. Nerves frayed, would it succeed? Crowds arrived, diverse and curious. Margaret manned a bakery stall, handing out rainbow cookies. "Try one for unity." Reynolds picketed outside, but his group dwindled. The climax. A speech by Lydia. "We were thrown into darkness, but we swam to light. Love isn't a choice, it's our truth." Applause thundered. Brielle joined her on stage, kissing her cheek. "To us," she said. The moment symbolized triumph. But betrayal's final twist. Jake, the cousin, returned, seeking forgiveness with an ulterior motive. A book deal exploiting their story. "I need your blessing," he pleaded. The sisters refused. "Earn trust, not profit," Brielle said. His departure closed a chapter. Healing accelerated. Margaret moved in temporarily after a health scare, fostering closeness. Stories shared around the fire, Margaret's youth, the sisters' dreams. "I'm proud," she said tearfully. As snow fell, they reflected. "We've changed this town," Lydia mused. Brielle nodded. "And it's changed us." The stage set for closure, emotions peaked in a family ritual. A lakeside gathering, not of despair but renewal. They scattered flower petals on the water, symbolizing release. "To new beginnings," Margaret toasted. Winter's grip loosened on Willow Creek, ushering in a spring of profound transformation. Lydia and Brielle, now fixtures in the community's evolving tapestry, embraced their roles as beacons. The support group thrived, drawing participants from neighboring towns. "Your resilience inspires," a newcomer shared. But beneath the progress, emotional undercurrents swirled, forgiveness's delicate dance. Margaret's health improved, but her presence deepened bonds. A family trip to Chicago, ironic escape turned bonding, saw them exploring museums, laughing over deep dish pizza. "This could be our future," Brielle whispered to Lydia amid the skyline's glow. Margaret overheard, smiling. "Wherever you go, I'm with you." Drama lingered in subtle forms. Reynolds retired amid scandal, embezzlement whispers, leaving a vacuum filled by progressive voices. The church hosted an inclusivity workshop. Margaret attended, sharing her journey. "I was blind," she admitted. Attendees nodded, empathy bridging gaps. Personal highs and lows punctuated their days. Brielle landed a promotion, celebrating with a romantic dinner. "To the woman who saved me," she toasted Lydia. Their love, once fraught, now flowed effortlessly, morning coffees, evening walks, shared silences speaking volumes. A final conflict arose. A documentary offer, promising exposure but risking exploitation. Debates raged. "It could help others," Lydia argued. Brielle hesitated. "At what cost?" They declined, prioritizing peace. "Our story's ours," they agreed. The human crescendo built toward the lake incident's anniversary. The town organized a remembrance event, not of tragedy but triumph. A memorial plaque by the dock read, "In waters of despair, love found its shore." Speeches flowed. The sisters spoke last. "We were daughters thrown away," Lydia began, voice steady. "But we rose hand in hand." Brielle continued. "Betrayal tested us, but humanity prevailed." Margaret joined them. "I failed you, but you've taught me grace." Applause echoed. Tears mingled. In the aftermath, decisions crystallized. They'd stay in Willow Creek, roots deepened by impact. "This is home," Lydia said. Brielle agreed. "With you anywhere is." Romance sealed the narrative. Under blooming cherry trees they exchanged vows in a private ceremony, Margaret officiating, friends witnessing. "I do," they echoed, rings slipping on fingers. Kisses followed, sweet and enduring. The town, stunned by their journey, evolved. Pride events became annual. Acceptance spread. The sisters' love, once a scandal, became legend. A tale of drama, emotion, romance, and humanity. Years later, as they watched their adopted child play by the lake, Lydia reflected. What happened after stunned us all. Brielle smiled. Love always does. In Willow Creek, where secrets once simmered, hope now shimmered on the water's surface. A testament to unbreakable bonds.